Happiness. It's something we all crave, but what exactly is it, and how do we achieve it? To answer this, let's look way back to ancient thinkers who dedicated their lives to this question. Philosophers from Greece, India, and China didn't just study happiness. They believed it was the ultimate purpose of life. The Greeks had a word for happiness, eudaimonia, but it's not happiness as we might think of it today. For Aristotle, one of Greece's greatest philosophers, eudaimonia meant flourishing or living well. To achieve eudaimonia, Aristotle argued that one must live a life of virtue, meaning a balance between extremes. Courage, for example, lies between recklessness and cowardice. Generosity lies between wastefulness and stinginess. He believed that true happiness wasn't found in pleasure or wealth, but in living a life with purpose and cultivating inner virtues. Aristotle wasn't the only Greek thinker with ideas about happiness. There was also Epicurus. Epicurus believed happiness was about avoiding pain and embracing simple pleasures, good friends, nourishing food, peace of mind. He argued that we don't need luxury or fame to be happy. Rather, by living modestly and focusing on relationships, we can find true joy. For Epicurus, happiness is less about accumulating things and more about creating moments of joy. But what about life's inevitable hardships? The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, believe happiness is found in how we respond to adversity. According to Stoicism, we can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we react. They taught that happiness comes from accepting what we can't change and finding strength within. This isn't about being passive. Instead, Stoics remind us to take responsibility for our inner world so that external events have less power over our happiness. On the other side of the world, around the same time, a prince named Siddhartha, who became known as the Buddha, was also asking what it means to be truly happy. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from attachment to things, people, and even ideas about ourselves. By releasing these attachments and embracing compassion, we can achieve a state called nirvana, a peaceful mind that isn't shaken by temporary emotions. For the Buddha, happiness isn't about acquiring. It's about letting go and living mindfully in the present. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, had a different take on happiness. For him, happiness was about harmony in relationships, in society, and within oneself. He believed that happiness came from fulfilling our roles, being a good friend, kind parent, an honest citizen, and respecting the people around us. Confucius taught that we are happiest when we live in a balanced, connected world where we feel a sense of belonging and purpose within our community. What can these ancient ideas teach us today? From Aristotle's pursuit of virtue to the Buddha's practice of letting go, these philosophers remind us that happiness isn't a destination. It's a way of living. They suggest that true happiness doesn't come from wealth or fame, but from balance, meaningful relationships, inner peace, and living with purpose. So maybe the next time we seek happiness, we can take a step back and ask, are we living in alignment with these timeless values? Are we seeking fulfillment, not just pleasure? Happiness, according to these ancient thinkers, is an art, a skill we cultivate over a lifetime. And maybe, just maybe, their wisdom can guide us toward a life of true, lasting happiness. Watch more content in science, philosophy, and psychology on Knowledge tab. Stay curious. Stay inspired.